This could have been a great movie, especially for someone like me. It was made for girls. You know, it was made for millennial girls, Gen X girls, little tweens. So I completely understand why, grown men aren't really into this movie because they aren't the target
Hey guys, what's
audience.
going on? Welcome to another review video. I just got back from the Barbie movie and, well, I have some thoughts. So let's get into it. If you haven't seen the movie yet and you're going to go see it, you don't want to see any spoilers, I suggest coming back to this video afterwards because I will be talking a bit about the movie and there's going to be some spoilers. So here's your warning. So, Barbie. When I first saw the trailers for this movie, not gonna lie, I was extremely hyped and excited. I thought this was going to be a silly, campy, make fun of itself chick flick about Barbie. I mean, I'm a millennial girl, and most millennial girls love Barbies. I mean, not just millennials, but you know what I mean. There's things I appreciated about this movie that I thought were fun and silly, but there's also preachiness that happens in this movie that I definitely did not appreciate. This movie could have been great, but they missed the mark. However, I didn't hate the movie. I know it's getting ripped apart, The
and I
entire
understand
film.
why. It opens
But
up
I will
Barbie's dream house. It's I appreciated that they made it as if little girl was playing with her. Used their imaginations in that sense, and I liked it. She's in the morning, she's eating her breakfast, and she just takes the cup and is like that. There's nothing coming out. That I liked that. I thought it was silly and cute. Plot of this movie is Margot Robbie's Barbie, who is the stereotypical Barbie, the blonde bombshell, perfect in every way, just Barbie. She's having an existential crisis. It starts fairly early on in the movie. She's having a dance party, and out of nowhere, she just goes, "Do you guys ever think of dying?" And then music cuts, and everyone's like, and she's like, I mean, I'm dying to dance. Like, she cuts, like, "Well, shouldn't have said that." And she's just like, she's having a crisis. She wakes up and she's all tired and not just like perky Barbie like normal. So you see there's something going on with her. She ends up having to go to Weird Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, and I like how they made her character Weird Barbie, and they showed another side note here. What they do with the Barbies in Barbie Land is if a certain little girl is playing with the Barbie and she does something, and like sometimes they connect, I guess. I mean, obviously it's only sometimes because there's billions of little girls in the real world that play with Barbies. So the Barbies connect sometimes with one of the people playing with her. So the weird Barbie, she gets her hair cut and they make the face all funky, and I thought that was kind of funny. And then she's weird Barbie. She used to be perfect Barbie, and then some little girl just like jacked her up, and so she's weird Barbie now. Anyway, she's like the one that fixes Barbies if there's an issue, right? So Margot Robbie's Barbie goes to see her. She tells her, you got to go to the real world and connect with the little girl that's playing with you, fix whatever's going on with her because whatever's happening to her is rubbing off on you. And she's like, okay, I want to be perfect. Another little funny scene before she goes to see her is the Flatfoot scene. If you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about because Barbies have, the pointed toe, the perfect, like, ballerina feet, right? And she gets Flatfoot, and it's funny when that happens because she falls over and she's like, oh my God. And she's like freaking out, and all the other Barbies start like gagging, like throwing up, but it's imaginary throw up because it's Barbie. Like, you don't actually see it, but they're all like, ah, throwing up, and it's hilarious. But anyway, so she journeys and Ken tags along. They go to the real world and she has to find this little girl because she wants to fix. She's like, I gotta be perfect Barbie again. I want my life back. In the real world, she's Ken discovers patriarchy and decides to bring it back to Barbie world because, and here is where something that I did not like about the film, where they get some of the preachiness happens. And where the feminism comes into it, but in a bad way, where they make the Kens and even the men more so like Will Ferrell, and then like in the real world, they make the men so just Un I don't like what they do with the men. Ken is just like he lives just for Barbie. Like, "Hi, Barbie. Oh, I live just for you." And the Kens have basically no personalities of their own. They just wait for the Barbies to be there for them, and I don't like that. Didn't like that. And the same thing, like, even Will Ferrell's characters is they make him like, yes, he's a silly actor, right? He plays a lot of silly roles, but this film heavily portrayed men just in a very bad light, and I didn't like that. They could have omitted that, and it would have actually made the movie better. So, Ken discovers patriarchy, and to me, I found it funny. Ryan Gosling was great in this. minus the fact that they made him kind of like just the dumb blonde, oh, I cater to Barbie for the majority of the film. But he discovers patriarchy. He goes back to Barbie land and makes it where the Kens are in charge. And some of those scenes were really funny. And it was kind of a like a play on Andrew Tate too. Like he even had like the mini fridge, and I thought that was funny. There were some funny parts in this movie. Anyways, Barney meets up with again, spoiler alert, I told you guys in the beginning, it wasn't a little girl, it was a little girl's mom, which I liked the dynamic between the mom and the tween daughter, where she's getting to that point where she's like, "Oh, like, mom, stay away." But it showed they used to play with Barbies together, and the mom just kind of lonely and upset. And she was the one that played with the Barbie to make her start getting all weird like that. So she finds out, okay, it's not a little girl playing with me, it's this mom. She brings them back to Barbie land because she's trying to fix the mom so she can fix herself. And that's when they come back and it's now Kenland and the Kens are in control and Barbie's like, what? I don't know what's going on. This is Barbie land. It's very like butch, manly, and so of course she's upset, and all the Barbies are technically brainwashed somehow. They don't really explain it too much, but Ken, he brings patriarchy to Barbie land, and so now the Kens are running control. The Barbies are just kind of like maids and girlfriends getting beers for the Kens and just doting on them. And Barbie comes back and she's not happy about this because she brings the woman and her daughter to Barbie Land to show them like, hey, it's completely different from the real world, which this was kind of annoying. I get that certain aspects of this stuff, it does exist in the real world, but they went too heavily with the preachiness, and that it could have been another thing that could have been taken out of the movie and would have made it much better. But yeah, so she takes them to Barbie Land to show them like, hey, men don't run things over here. The Barbies do. But rude awakening because Kens have taken over. So she kind of gives up. And there's a scene where I thought this was actually kind of funny. She just gives up. And she's like, I'm just going to lay here until one of the smarter Barbies comes and fixes things. And she just kind of like sits and folds over like a doll, like if a Barbie doll fell over. And I thought that was funny. Little things like that I liked. Like I said, this could have been a great movie, especially for someone like me. It was made for girls. You know, it was made for millennial girls, Gen X girls, little tweens. So I completely understand why, grown men aren't really into this movie because they aren't the target audience. Eventually, the mom gives this big speech, which is kind of was a little long-winded. Some of her points were valid, but again, heavy on the preachiness. So she gives this big, like, girl power speech, and one of the Barbies that was brainwashed snaps out of it. So one by one, they decide to take all the Barbies together and they, snap them out of it so they could take back over Barbie land. Decide to not let the Kens know, obviously. Kens are getting ready to do a vote where they just absolutely have complete control. Barbies band together. They don't let them know that they're out of their brainwash. And they're all, lovey-dovey with the Kens, and even, Margot Robbie's Ken is like, I want to be your girlfriend to Ryan Gosling's Ken. He's like, oh my God, he's still freaking out because he's still, no matter, even though he's in charge, he's still Ken that's obsessively in love with Barbie. And the girls kind of pull oh, well, we're going to flirt with other Kens to make them jealous and pit them against each other. And it worked to distract them so that they can go make the votes and make sure Barbie Land stays in control of the Barbies. And of course, it happened. So they retake control. One quick little fun thing that I liked about it was they had a scene that was reminiscent to the Grease Lightning with the Kens dancing, and I loved it. I loved that scene. I didn't love this movie. It wasn't fantastic, but there was definitely some fun parts. If they would have removed the preachiness and just the over feminist take, it would have been great. Like, this was kind of nice. They could have maybe done a little bit more with this, but she kind of tells Ken, you don't have to be just Ken. You're Ken. Like, I'm Barbie and you're Ken. You don't have to live for Barbie because he says, like, it's Barbie and Ken. There's no just Ken. It's Barbie and Ken. His little storyline kind of to where it's seemingly that he's okay with being figuring out himself. I don't know. They don't really dive into it because they didn't care about the men characters in this film, unfortunately. But it ends where he's not completely like, my life is just dedicated to Barbie, which that was nice. But she decides that she wants to be human. She's talking with Ruth, the woman who created Barbie. It's her spirit, her essence. I don't know. I mean, it's all magical, anyways. Barbie Land's not real. So she's talking with Ruth and decides, I want to be a human. I'm not Barbie anymore. So that's how they end it. She goes into the real world and she is just gonna live out as a human. So overall, I give this I'll be nice about it and give a 6 out of 10. It could have been great. There was some very fun parts in this movie. Did not hate it, but the preachiness was just overdone. The feminism shoved into it was a little over the top. Granted, coming into this before I even seen any of the reviews, which there's a lot of bad ones before anybody told me they didn't like this movie, I knew there was going to be a bit of feminism in it. It's Barbie. It's a girly girl power movie. It's to be expected, but they overdid it. So that took away from it. If they would have taken that out and the preachiness, if they wouldn't have done what they did to the male characters in this movie, it would have been a great movie. I still think it was a fun time. Or there was a few little girls in the theater around me that were giggling and having a good time. There was even this adorable little like I don't know 4-year-old or 5-year-old that had a pink Barbie dress on with the words Barbie all over it, and she looked so cute, and she was so excited to come in. I actually seen her when I was leaving. She was getting ready to go into the next showing, and I was like, "Okay, I hope this little girl loves it." As far as I could tell in the theater, the little girls did enjoy it. I heard a lot of little giggles, and there were some funny moments. I giggled a couple times as well. So, did you see the Barbie movie? These comments are gonna be kinda crazy, I feel like. I know a lot of people didn't like the movie at all. So, I wanna know what your thoughts are, though. Did you see it? Do you plan on seeing it? Let me know your thoughts down below, and take care, guys. Bye.